The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Media Mash brought to you by nobody, right here from the SWC podcast
Ain't from
studio.
lack of effort.
in Frisco, Texas, we got young Nick Harris from Fort Worth Star Telegram, and got the author, former Cowboy beat writer. He is Jean-Jacques Taylor. I am Newy Scruggs here. All right, guys. Yesterday, Stephen Jones was asked about Micah Parsons and asked about Micah Parsons' contract and asked more and more about Micah Parsons, and he was fed up.
Yeah.
Nick, your takeaway from Stephen's frustration. This isn't the first time he's gotten questions. I mean, Lord knows the last two Dak Prescott questions. I mean, he got hit up all day long, but
Yeah.
rarely have we seen Stephen get to this type of boiling point like he did.
Yeah, and he has to see it coming that he's going to be getting these questions, right? And the frustration that he had was almost as if he was caught off guard by the question, and that's going to be the first thing we ask about right now because that's the most pressing thing left in the offseason is when's Micah Parsons going to get his deal back?
And I'm thinking of it just like you. Okay, this is all fixable.
Yeah.
We don't know why it's not fixable, and he's not going to give us that because the nature of the negotiations, but wellness was coming. And when you look at the fact, guys that other teams wanted on these, they're done. That's the frustrating part for Cowboy fans. Wait a minute, did it CD Lamb last year? Did Dak Prescott?
It's insanity, baby.
Coming, and Tyler Smith's going to be coming. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Okay, the only question really, though, is how long does it take? Like, it doesn't really matter that it's not done right now. It really doesn't. It matters to me, not that Stephen cares what I think, but it matters, is it done on day one of training camp so that it doesn't drip into the season? That's what matters. You'd like to have it done now, but you don't want a situation where, what do we have? Well, I think if he signs now, he'll be ready to play by the first game. You don't want that because this team is not good enough to give away some games because their best player is not available for week one. So as long as he's good, when that first, we got to go old school. When the first training camp practice happens, right, you could even show, you ain't even got to be done on the day camp starts. First practice, though, you need number 11 out there.
So when I think about the schedule, the schedule, you start off at Philadelphia on a Thursday night, and the home team, who's a Super Bowl champion, traditionally wins that game. We just kind of look at the numbers here, but it's a divisional game. Your second game is a divisional game. It's against the Giants here. You look into the back half of the schedule's rough. Okay, you start looking at November 23rd. You go Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, the LA Chargers, Washington Commanders, and New York Giants. The first part of the schedule is kind of where September, October, you got to try and gain some ground here.
Yep.
And if your best defensive player is not here, or you sign him late, and then he's like CD Lamb was, well,
that's what I'm saying.
No, I am get myself going. No, this team isn't good enough having to go up against the NFC North, the AFC West, and the two teams who finished in the NFC Championship game in your division to not have their best player here, ready to go, ramped up, going.
And every indication that Micah has given us since this contract stuff has come about is that he will be here at training camp until he had this little 2-sentence quote in a tweet that he had last night. And I want to get your guys' opinion on this. This is in reference to mandatory minicamp next week. He said, I will be there. I haven't missed a minicamp in 4 years. That's a fact. Even though the contract is not done, I have teammates in a playbook. This is the part. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp, but it's in the owner's hands.
Well,
that tells me, hey, I'll be there first week of camp, but it's up to Jerry. I'm planning on it, but it's up to Jerry.
Jock, you've been writing a long time, and we know what "but" means.
Hey, man.
Everything I just said, but just take it out.
No, man.
But it's in the owner's hands, meaning, but if the owner doesn't have me sign, I'm not doing this.
I'll be there when my deal is done.
And it's the old Ricky Waters line. For who, for what?
Hey, man, that's just the way it is. And that's why, to me, everybody's who signed and his, to help determine his market's been done. We know what the numbers are. We can probably put them down right now and be within, real close to it. And so it's not real complicated to me. It's just, this is the way the Cowboys do business and have done business.
And I'm not going to sit up here and act like I didn't talk to anybody. I know what's going on here. I don't. Just look from the outside. The frustrating part for Cowboy fans is the Eagles get jobs. They get things done. The Lions are getting things done. The Rams are getting things done.
We don't know what goes on in their household.
True.
Ain't that what your parents used to tell you?
But as Parcells used to say, don't talk to me about the labor. Show me the baby. Show me the baby. Your baby late every year. What's the due date? Baby late every year with the
Got a 12-month baby. How's that possible?
Right. Everybody getting their babies out
elephant
on time,
gestation.
premature. Your baby all breached and late and the whole thing and C-sectioned out, man. It's just like at some point in time, man, can we deliver this baby on time?
That baby talking
early?
words coming out.
Right. It's like, hey.
There's still hope, man. There's still hope it can get done. There's no good reason for it not to get done, but we've said that before. So, we've all said what the definition of insanity is. You're doing the same thing, hope for a different result. So Cowboys, I like to say that they are smart people. And so I believe that they will see what has happened, especially with a guy like, don't look at me like that, especially with a guy like Micah. And what you need from him for the season, you just want him there at camp. You don't need no strained quads, no strained hamstrings because you didn't get out. You just don't need it, man.
That, and let's add this in here as well, guys. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. This is the third defensive coordinator that Micah Parsons is going to have.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 years.
In 3 years. So what is it Matt Eberflus wants to do with Parsons? You kind of need him out there. We can go back to the first training camp when Dan Quinn was here and he figured out, okay, this is what I like from Parsons. This is what I want to do. And so he's out there having those conversations with Mike McCarthy. And I remember the times after practice, it's McCarthy and Quinn and Mike, and they're walking up and down the field having those conversations. And DQ started kind of formulating a vision of what he wanted to do. If you're going to be fair to Brian Schottenheimer, if you're going to be fair to Matt Eberflus to get this team and this defense running, put the key piece that you want to go at your chess piece that you need out there. Get him there. Get him there going. Get him there happy. Let's not drag this thing out. And I say all this, something could be done tomorrow. Something could be done over the weekend.
It's not hard to get it done.
Right.
It's really not. I mean, anytime we've had these situations, again, we can come up with what the numbers are because they're just slotting in ahead of the last guy, the latest guy, the newest guy. It's not that hard to put the numbers together. They have the cap room to do it. It's a matter of getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the most mind-numbing topic this entire offseason, hands down. Because you know it's going to get done. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of if and when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But it's mind-numbing to talk about. Because I feel like we could all predict the number right now.
That's what I'm saying.
We could all predict it, just as we did with Dak and CD.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And this is the beauty of me not being a full-time beat guy like you. And for you, in your
I have to write one more contract story.
Right. In your world, it's not only do you have to write it, but it gets traffic.
Yeah.
So the bosses want it because they want the numbers and the fans get into it.
That's fascinating you bring that up because, yes, there was a lot of traffic around the Dak and CD. I think people are numb to this topic, too, because the traffic around Micah contract stuff is not as high as it was around Dak and CD.
And I'll tell you one reason why, and this is just me. Mm-hmm. Dak being the quarterback of the Cowboys and also the way ESPN pushes their, and you have in the other little Fox show with the crazy dudes over there, there was so much debate and disdain from certain people about the quarterback that it was something they drived and pushed. There's not a level of disdain for Parsons the way in debate about it the way it was for the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, still you have some people, he's not worth this, he's not worth that. Everybody's pretty much in agreement. Micah Parsons is an elite pass rusher and one of the best in the game.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So that's why I think there's not as much because it's not as polarizing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe that's the better word I should have used. I apologize. I should have used polarizing.
Yeah.
that they have used that as a polar. If you're polarized about Micah Parsons, I think you don't know football.
Yeah, and if you're if you're numb to the contract talk, just get ready for next offseason because it's going to be all this times 100. Not only do you have Tyler Smith, you have DaRon Bland. That's going to be a very fascinating one to track. Trayvon Diggs, what is his contract situation going to look like next year? Jake Ferguson, I mean, the list goes down. We're going to have some fascinating ones.
I don't think them last two that fascinating.
That part.
Yeah, I'll give you that. More so Bland and Smith. Bland and Smith are going to be very interesting. And Brandon Aubrey, too. He's going to be due up, so.
Aubrey, real simple. You can slap franchise tag on that.
yeah, that's probably makes the most sense.
Cheap franchise tag.
Right.
That probably makes the most sense.
Go ahead and do that on him. But the other two,
well, see, the problem with DaRon Bland is, and it's nobody's fault. It's just what it is. Is he somewhere between that historic year and what he did last year, where he's cool, but he's not special, and so you're not sure what to pay him. So this year will be a much better gauge if he can be healthy on who he is as a player.
So let me throw this out here because this is something we've seen them do before as they try to send messages. What if they go get a Bland deal done? Can't. Like, hey, here you go. Mm-hmm. You're done. We got you. And they get him at their price, which we've seen. Also, they got at their price. They got Diggs at their price. They got a Tyron Smith at their price. Bland may be a guy who's willing to say, hey, man, let me go ahead and lock this
If I was
in.
Bland, I would go get it at my price because I had a historic season. I had a mess season. I didn't get any real money when I got drafted in the 5th round.
Right.
So let me go lock down the future. See how I did that right now. So I would be game for that. Plus, they're trying to play me in the slot where the money's not as big as it is on the outside. My attitude about playing the slot is a lot better when I've already got my deal done.
Yeah. If I was Bland, I would lock it down right now if I could too, because then you're not risking injury over the course of this next season as well.
And you take fear. You take away fear. That is a major thing, as you talked about, Jock. When you're a day 2 guy, and you haven't been able to cash in yet, and you've got an injury here, if you get the right money, you take away the fears. Hey, I've got life-changing money in my pocket right now versus trying to go out to the market and maybe getting it, maybe not. The whole maybe part of it. Plus, any good agent will start to talk about you're living in a place where there are no state taxes. So, a difference between a contract here and in New York or California or Michigan, where the money is could be even a little bit more, but not the same. So,
but they're also trying to ban THC, so hey, it balances out.
They'll be all right regardless.
Yeah, the league what the league says, these little politicians could be debatable. It doesn't mess with your money there. But I think that's something to think about. And then as you look at someone like anybody who's been under a contract lately, that a Diggs, a Steele, you're going to have to start to wonder, okay, where are you fitting in this world going forward as they add new deals like a Lamb? Tyler Smith will get paid here. Depending on what happens with Pickens, does Pickens have the kind of year that they say, we can't let this guy get out of the building here? So, yeah, everybody can't stay. This is what we know,
Everybody can't stay now.
As a great journalist once told me, sports is fluid.
Yeah.
Contracts are fluid, too, in the NFL. We know this.
I think the funniest possible scenario is they call David Mulligetta, who's Micah Parsons' agent. It's like, hey, how's it going? We finally talking to, yeah, we know your name. What about Pickens? Let's get a deal done with Pickens. And they get a deal done with Pickens instead. He's heading into a contract year.
That would be interesting. I have a Pickens thought. Take a break.
Okay.
George Pickens, new Cowboy receiver. Let's dive into his situation as he's here getting ready for mandatory mini camp next week. Jean-Jacques Taylor and the Newy Scruggs Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, the 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash right here on DallasCowboys.com. Jacques Taylor. Nick Harris is here. I am Newy Scruggs. All right, George Pickens changed his number this week. Okay, so number change.
I think I liked him better than 13.
I did too. And I like Dante Fowler better than 3, but neither here nor there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what it is. It is what it is. I had a chance to talk to him 2 weeks ago in the locker room. Enjoyable conversation, and this is where I give Dak Prescott a whole lot of credit, where he'll just sit in the locker room and hang out and talk. Pickens is sitting next to him. Other media members are there. Everybody knows it's not a Dak day to talk. You're just talking to him.
You're just talking.
Yes, he humanized something I wish Tony Romo would have done. He didn't want to do that. Your choice. But anyway, you could see Pickens sitting next to Dak. You see them forming a relationship. But anyway, just having a conversation with him. Okay. Perception and reality are always different things here. We know this as guys who go into the room and whatnot. And I left there just saying to myself, you know what, man? If this kid can make a real connection with Dak Prescott, he may be able to have the kind of year where you say, okay, guess what? Hey, Jerry, there's a big decision that has to be made here about the player. Now, it's easy for me to say right here, we haven't, training camp, season tells you a whole different thing. But initially, you know what? Something to look out for. That's just my thought, Nick.
How that has translated onto the field, I think, has already been seen, too. Yesterday in OTAs, and I try not to put a whole lot of stock into OTAs because it's underwear Olympics.
Thank you.
It's underwear Olympics. However, one play in the red zone, they were doing 7-on-7 work, and Dak's rolling out trying to find an open receiver, and you can see him communicating with George Pickens off script, and you see him directing traffic. And he throws it to Pickens along the sideline, and Pickens fully extended, tiptoe in the sideline, hauls it in. Referee on the side motions it a touchdown. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, you would think that they've had a couple of years together already. It's only been a couple of weeks on the field. So you see that chemistry, that communication, you see it already forming on the field. And I thought that was seeing that conversation and seeing how they bonded then, you saw how that translated between the lines.
Pickens shows signs to me that he cares. And
what are those signs?
All three of us have been around long enough to know there's some dudes who are here because this is a job. But everything. Being in the locker room, sitting next to the quarterback as he sees the quarterback working things and just trying to figure out too, because as Dak is holding court, I'm sure you could tell he's like, all right, who should I talk to? How do I talk? He's trying to figure out the lay of the land from a guy who's a veteran. So I'm not here saying okay, he's smart. The first press conference he gave all the right answers. Got nothing to say bad about Pittsburgh. No sense in dumping on him. I have a new chapter here. We got coached properly.
But he took the coaching.
Right. I mean, how many times do you hear people who work with the president And we told him what to do. He went up there to start shooting.
Went off.
Yeah, doing his own thing. He stayed on script. And so far, so good that, hey, here are the perceptions and the things that we've heard. And right now, we're not seeing it. And no bullets have flown yet. But right now, what we're seeing tells me, okay, maybe even with Brian Schottenheimer, the way he's gone about his business as a head coach right now, for all the questions we have, like, you know what? So far, hey man, you're doing what you need to be doing.
No, I think that's good. I think one of the things I always try to do as a reporter is I really don't care what anybody else has to say about another person. You know, all the Pittsburgh, not all of them, a lot of Pittsburgh reporters after they traded him, they came on local radio. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And really, that's just those dudes' individual relationships with him. It has nothing to do with anybody here. And so, you know, as a reporter, I always try to separate myself from you. I'm not media. I'm just me. And you either get down with me or you don't. And you try to create your own individual relationships and give people a chance to show you who they are in whatever their new environment is. And people will show you whether they cool, whether they're not cool, whether they 7-letter cuss words. I mean, they'll show it to you. You don't have to wait too long. Right. And so, you know, so I think it's cool that he's come down here taking advantage of a new start to create new relationships, new environment. Because the thing about the media is, and I'm just going to keep it real with y'all, it's hard for 50-year-old white men to get down with 20-year-old black men and understand them and where they're coming from. That's just a hard thing for them to do. And so I don't really take into account anything that age bracket has to say about a 20-year-old black football player.
What about his teammates?
Teammates, I pay more attention to, but again, it's the same thing. Everybody's got their own deal. Some things, for example, if you were a Cowboys, now me and Newy are about to date ourselves, especially for you. But if you were Cowboys in the early 90s, in the mid-90s, back when they were winning Super Bowls and going to championship games and stuff, if Jimmy Johnson was your coach, your teammates may say one thing about you because that's what leadership is. If Barry Switzer is your coach, they may say another thing about you because there's a different leadership. So it's a different expectation, it's a different standard, it's a different everything. And so, you know, you just have to give people room for maturity and growth. I'm not the same dude I was at 30 or at 40 or at 50. I'm not going to date your age. But you're not the same guy you were at 18 or at 20 or at 21 now.
and you mentioned a word there that hits a lot of times too, is maturity. And Randy, I tell people all the time, I truly believe Randy Moss succeeded because of where he went to Minnesota. Here's Denny Green. Mm-hmm. There's Jake Reed. There is Chris Carter, and that where he went to. And I come back in this, watching George Pickens, just watching body language and trying to do, and I study a lot of just human nature. You going over to Dak Prescott and sitting here and trying to be around him, and then what you've talked about here, here's a dude with respect. Here's a guy that's you know, getting things done the right way. Let me go over here. Pittsburgh, we look at the quarterback situation. It's kind of messy. It is still messy. Okay, it is still messy in Pittsburgh. I at least give the guy credit. And I go back to this business philosopher. His name was Jim Rohn. He says, you know what? The 5 people you hang around is going to tell a whole lot about your life. Financially, educationally, the 5 people you're around. As a receiver, to say, you know what? Here's Dak Prescott. Let me go hang around this guy, see what he's doing here. You know, Dak Prescott's had to me, and I debate people this all the time, had a hell of a career. You know, even Tony Romo, when people always say, you go from undrafted free agent like Tony Romo and do what and leave the way he did, okay, hey, you know, in terms of that kind of, that's a lot. The Dak Prescott wasn't the 4th round pick. He was the 2nd 4th round pick. Okay.
He could become the franchise's all-time leading passer this year.
Right. This guy's had a hell of a career. And so for a guy like Pickens, you're coming over here from that situation, hey man, let me go gravitate toward this guy. Mm-hmm. That shows me some common sense. As opposed to wishing Mozzie Smith would have
gravitated to anyone. Literally gravitated to anyone.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot more to go. But I'm just going like, here's your sample size.
The reason I ask about teammate, and I brought this up on the show, I think the day after the trade, is I grew up with a player that's on the Steelers now, and I called him the morning after the trade. I said, hey, who is George Pickens from your perspective? I'm not going to report anything. I'm just kind of here, like, getting perspective here. And he had mentioned great teammate. It was like everybody in the locker room loves him. He's the kid in class that all the kids love and all the teachers hate. And it's professionalism. It was showing up late to meetings, showing up late for away game flights, things like that. It's the little things. And when you have a guy like George Pickens who's so good on the field, it's kind of like a guy that makes all the threes. You can trust him off the bench. But when it comes to just making the layups and making your free throws, you just can't get it done. And so Dak, great person to gravitate to when you want to make your layups and make your free throws. That's a guy who's made a lot of layups and free throws. He needs more of the three-pointer. So if they can work together, it could work out for him.
All right,
really
so I tell everybody this: when you say that, immediately in my mind, go back and watch The Last Dance and how Jordan dealt with Dennis Rodman.
I love all your Last Dance references. How many times have you seen it through?
It is, for
a lot of love coming through.
For a guy who grew up in North Carolina when he was playing, my introduction to basketball was the 82 target.
I just connected the dots. Okay.
And just for that whole thing, to watch the whole thing, because Dennis, while he was with the Pistons with Chuck Davis, Dennis was a great citizen. Mm-hmm. When he went to San Antonio, he became all that, got away from it. And then when he went to the Bulls, they were able to, bother. But it was a guy like Michael Jordan, the respect he had. What he did in San Antonio with David Robinson, he wasn't going to be able to pull off of Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. And I think for a guy like Pickens, when you see respect, that's so much. Sometimes it's just, you can have all the coaches you want to. It's dudes in the room that kind of help get that done. And that's like with Randy Moss. It's dudes in the room. And I think a guy like Pickens, who's a talented guy, will respect people who are here at that level.
It's a great point, because who is the leader in that locker room? Najee Harris? Maybe.
And look where he is now.
And he's the same age as Pickens.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gone. So.
You have to respect your leadership, man.
Mm-hmm.
And every team's got some guys who proclaim to be leaders, who've been appointed leaders, but if you don't respect them, it doesn't matter.
And let's also just understand this. Everybody wants to get paid. Okay, you come in this game and you have an opportunity, you want to get paid. You're playing for the Dallas Cowboys, all the games they have on national TV and the spotlight they have. Right out the gate, man. You're on Thursday night. This is the opportunity for George Pickens to get paid.
You're gonna have a pregame segment, buddy. They're gonna look at you with that number 3 jersey on in pregame warmups.
Right. So whether it's here or somewhere else, if George Pickens has an outstanding season, he's going to get paid. And I remember Sparky Anderson, who managed the Tigers to a World Series, the Cincinnati Reds, Big Red Machine, said, give me 25 guys on a one-year deal, I'd win a World Series every year. Dudes find a way. Even DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray seemed like he was hurt all the time. He was even hurt the year he was a free agent, but doggone it, NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Dudes smell the bag, man. They smell a bag, and Pickens shouldn't be any different than anyone else. Man, here's a bag to be had by an owner who's willing to give a bag, especially to an offensive player.
You might just get it the day before the season starts. That's it.
Might wait a second, but you know what?
But it's there.
He don't deliver on time. He don't deliver when you want it. But it's there. It is there. All right, let's take our final segment. Our final break here. Get on our final segment with Nick Harris, Jean-Jacques Taylor. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Media Mash, sponsored by nobody on DallasCowboys.com.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, sponsored by nobody right here on DallasCowboys.com. We are at the Star in Frisco, home headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys, who open up the season September 4th against the Philadelphia Eagles on NBC. It's a Thursday night game. The Eagles are world champions.
So
you get that. When you.
Yeah, so's Ohio State. What does that mean?
Oh, well, it wasn't even about us, man. But it be what it be.
Pay people, man. It's professional.
Pay people.
It's all professional football now. Ohio State, Philadelphia, all professional football, man. I'm happy for you, Jacques.
I appreciate that.
I'm happy for you.
We ain't getting the trophy back.
Hey, look, I'm just happy for Ryan Day, man. The way you fans treated him was disgusting.
Don't say you fans. I just told you I don't know with the crowd,
just
man.
Telling you, man.
I'm an individual.
I felt bad for that guy. I like Ryan Day, man. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve treating that man like that. But doggone it, they can't give him the Earl Bruce treatment anymore, doggone it.
He better win another one next year.
Man, please.
Pete does. Jeremiah Smith needs a cut of his salary moving forward.
You know what? I mean, see, that's the greediness
What?
of a fan base like yours. Win another one. You're lucky if you just win one in your life, man. One.
Well, we're on a pretty good pace. We win one every decade. And I'm cool with that.
If you win one, man, just just be happy. It's hard.
Hey, man, I get that, dog.
It's hard. Some of the things that always burns you. Dean Smith should have won more. Like these are easy to come by.
Yeah, I'll come back to Carolina.
And they look at like John Wooden. So I was lucky enough to work in Los Angeles and be around John Wooden. And people forget me. It took like 16 years to win the first one. These are hard. It's hard. It's not.
It's been 30 years here. These things are hard to do. It's hard to win, man. I mean, they should have won in 07, 14, 16. They had opportunities. It was all there in front of them.
I'll disagree.
They didn't get it done.
I'll disagree with you on 07. Should have been there, but I don't think they win the game if they go.
It don't matter. Just get there.
Because they played the Patriots earlier in the year, and it was no contest at Texas Stadium. So.
That's what It's like
the Marion Barber run, though. The 2-yard run.
The 100-yard run to gain 2 yards.
Good times.
But yes, they should have been there. That's all I'm saying. They had chances to get to the Super Bowl. They just haven't done it. And that's why there's so much disdain about the quarterback.
That and it's also there's kind of a culture thing about this town.
What do you mean?
In sports, I mean, there's been so much in 25 years that I've been here, man. There's been a lot more sports disappointment than victory.
Like the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, 3 straight. You can't even get there to the final.
They got one, and they got spanked in that one, but they got to.
So it's just there. I mean, when Tampa Bay in the bubble. Now, look, Tampa Bay was that was a little dynasty they had, right? Tampa Bay was a better team, better team. But just we've seen it, man. FC Dallas, they finally get to the final, they lose. I mean, the Mavs, the first time, 06, you go up 2-0 on Miami. It's game 3. I'm sitting here at the arena. They're up 13 with 6 to go, and I'm like, man, I really don't want to sweep because I want to stay in South Beach 5 days. I'm not trying to go back. And then they lost the game and then won another one.
Oh, you stayed in South Beach 5 days, all right.
No, yeah, we did. That was, that part was not bad.
Other than the hotel, right?
Yeah.
So
no, that was the second time, Nick.
That was the second time, right?
That was the second time.
Okay.
That was the second time. Yeah. No.
Second time.
First time we were fine. Second time was when we got. We didn't know about that Memorial Day activity, but yeah, man, there's just been a lot of it. A lot of disappointment. I was reading the other day about going back to the 2011 World Series in Game 6 and being one strike away twice.
I was there for that.
Yeah,
that's the Mona Lisa of Dallas sports disappointment.
I mean, that was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I having been at these games too, I remembered going to Busch Stadium, and because then the guy ran the clubhouse, Hoggy Price. He's like, he said, man, Nooster, we had to take the champagne out because we had put the plastic in. One strike away. They
doing interviews with plastic in the background.
They got the T-shirts. I mean, it's all there. And then so when you're walking down there, you're passing all the families. Because the families are right there because they're ready there for the celebration too, and it's like, ooh, yeah. So I said, so when you say 30 years of the Cowboys, it's we've seen what, 2 parades? I've seen 2 parades in 25 years, man.
It's a fascinating point, JJT, because when they did get it a couple years ago, the Rangers, there was still, I don't know how y'all felt, still in the back of my mind, that disappointment and hurt from 2011. It's like, yeah, it feels great, but man, I wish that 2011 team had it. Do you think the Cowboys franchise will kind of have the same feeling? It's like when that time comes around, it's like, oh, they should have had it in 16, though. There's still disappointment there. Like, a ring's a ring, don't get me wrong.
Those people are going to be dead.
I think there's so much distance.
Won't matter.
So what was interesting on the field in Arizona, there's Michael Young, there's Ian Kinsler, and there's Adrian Beltre. They were all there. And, they're still young guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, you start thinking about the guys who played here, the last one. I mean, Troy Aikman is what, 55?
No, we are the same age, 58, 59.
Okay. So, I mean, these guys are, versus, these other dudes, Beltre, these guys weren't too, decade, plus from playing in that series. I saw Josh Hamilton about a month and a half ago, so, at least it's still fresh to those guys.
Josh Hamilton would have, he'd have a statue out there.
Yeah. Well, I've always said, had the 2011 Rangers is like the Cowboys Super Bowl 13 team. That Cowboy team, there's a lot of gold jackets lost that day. And when the Rangers didn't win it 2011, there's a lot of people's careers in Texas that are changing. Josh Hamilton's contract is done. He never leaves.
No, they hit that homer in the 9th or the 10th.
The 10th. Hit the 2-run homer at 10th.
Kinsler doesn't get traded.
None of that.
Ron Washington is still the manager. I mean, there's a lot of these things are still here because there's grace and there's a championship. Mm-hmm. And you forgive a whole lot when you win a ring. He's our champion. Lives are a
cream
lot
be
different.
damn.
Yeah. Life. John Daniels is thought of differently.
Yeah.
By the time when John left here, man, people were frustrated and they were mad. You put a championship on it, there's a lot of gifting that you get. And you're able to breathe a little bit, which your guy Ryan Day at Ohio State, he's able to breathe. Mac Brown went through it down in Texas, and we finally won it, man. Hey, brother, I can breathe now.
Yeah.
They're off me. And it would have been the first for the Rangers. So that's the other thing, too. When it's that first one, it's like what Madonna and Hitchcock and Darian Hatcher and all those guys with the Stars have, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys are still heroes to this day.
Yep.
Those guys, I took my kid to the game Sunday of the Rangers, and there's a big old beautiful mural of Michael Young, and I'm just like, I hated that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't get to have that. And then I think about D. Ware and being on the field in San Francisco when he won the Super Bowl with the Broncos and talking to Uncle Wade. Wade was down there too. It's like, man, you guys weren't able to get that feeling with the Cowboys and just how different your life is if you're able to have that moment in a Cowboy uniform.
Oh, it's you do that in a Cowboys uniform. It's immortality.
Immortality. It's I would tell people all the time. Drew Pearson hadn't played and caught a pass since '83, and look at how he's revered and thought of in this town. Like that's what winning in the town. And it's like Albert Pujols in St. Louis. He left 10-year deal, but he's still that guy in St. Louis because it's the Cardinals. It's winning a championship in L.A. if you're a Laker. I mean, it just means more in certain places. Being a champion with the New York Yankees. And yeah, if you're a Cowboy player and you're able to win a championship, it's a whole different deal. I mean,
I think Charles Haley, he was barely here. When you factor in everybody else that was on those teams and how long that they stayed on this team, Charles Haley was here for a blink, but he won championships.
But the thing about Charles is he was that final, like
he was
that like boom, that guy.
Gave him a ring.
Two rings. They needed him, and so while he wasn't here, quote unquote, that long, everybody knew the importance of what he brought to that defense, and especially in Super Bowl 27 when they get the punt blocked and they're down in the game and they help turn things around. It's a great NFL Films clip where he says, "Hey guys, let's not get excited. Butch is over here trying to help us out." D-line coach Butch Davis at the time, and the Cowboys steadied themselves and then went on a second quarter incredible run and win that game against the Bills 52-17, the youngest team in the league. But they had the number one defense there. But Charles was such a huge part of they needed that guy to get it done. And sometimes you're able to make the proper trade for a veteran to get it done. He comes from San Francisco with 2 Super Bowl rings. It's like when San Francisco originally brought in Fred Dean from the Chargers and he helped them win their first Super Bowl. You sometimes you get guys that, boom, we need you to help us get here. And it works out great. And you're a legend for him. Deion going to San Francisco. They needed Deion to finally help them get through and come with a swagger and do these things like that. So, yeah, old nostalgia, huh?
So Jack Sanborn will be that guy. George Pickens. Honestly, I can see Pickens being that final piece of the offense, but that defense needs help.
Okay, what's the? I was talking about this. What's the bigger issue on defense? To stop the run? Who's going to play corner?
Stop the run.
Stop the run is the biggest thing. I mean, the spine of that defense is so unreliable, and it's been that way for 5 years.
I always go back to what Hall of Famer Warren Sapp said: "Back don't work without the front." And you just think about all your great defenses. The Steel Curtain, Doomsday, Purple People Eaters. It was about what was up front, and you can mask some things with people in the back, but. I don't care how good you are. I mean, if you're Deion Sanders, if nobody's getting to the quarterback, it's gonna be hard. It'll be hard to cover somebody for so long. I mean, they're gonna get loose. So it's up front. And I think about the 5 Super Bowl championship teams that the Cowboys have had here. All of those teams had fantastic D linemen and had Hall of Famers on the D line. From Bob Lilly to Randy White to Charles Haley, they had guys up front. And right now, it's a problem. And when you're counting on Mozzie Smith right now, I would not have a lot of confidence there. Because as Bill Parcells, you say, all I can go by is what I see. And right now, I'm not seeing a run stopper there. Maybe your guy from UCLA, JT, can get it done, but I'm concerned. And right out of the gate, here's Saquon Barkley.
If you could pick one player on this team to have a Pro Bowl season, like, okay, that's going to be the guy. It's Mozzie Smith. I can hear an argument for somebody else, but I really don't think there's a strong one.
I mean, one techs make Pro Bowls these days.
Yeah, but if you do make a Pro Bowl as a one tech, it means you were a game wrecker. It means you really did make some.
Right. So
you say what?
How about just be a good player?
Yeah.
I didn't
Which
say
Pro Bowl is like my I guess gauge of good because there's like 6 of them that make it these days.
How about you just become dependable?
Give me a dependable Mozzie Smith.
That's really that's the bar at this point in time. Hey man, can you just be dependable and a guy they can count on here? And and even let's say go back to, do you care? Mm-hmm. That's a question right now. Sometimes you wonder about how much do you care, man? How much does this mean to you? Mm-hmm. Once again, Jacques and I were around for the old days, man. And I know it's on the wide and think about the old days and the old days, but you knew dudes who cared. Mm-hmm. They had that was a prerequisite around. You had to care, and if you didn't, you weren't gonna be around.
Or your teammates would hold you accountable for caring.
Another Last Dance reference from B.J. Armstrong said, Michael was hard to be around if you didn't care about basketball. Mm-hmm. Basically, he was gonna run you off.
I mean, that's like Mike and that's like Troy. If DJ,
Mike for sure.
Yeah. You don't. I'm telling.
It had to mean something to you because it meant something to them.
They had, what was it? Somebody was telling me a story a few weeks ago. He was a rookie, and he was walking, it was 94 rookie class, and a couple of them walked in the locker room for the first time. Mike's in there half naked as usual. The guy said, just some tights on and some shoes. And somebody said, hey, Mike, those guys are part of the rookie class. And they walked over there and stuck their hand out to shake it. And Mike said, I don't give a bleep about your handshake. How you going to help us win? And this is coming off of back-to-back Super Bowls. That's what it was about. How you going to help us win? Otherwise,
it was a standard.
Get up out of here, dog.
There was a standard.
Yeah.
A standard.
Trying to get it back.
Shotty's going to try and get it back. He's talked about it.
He's created a culture. Does the culture create the standard? That's something we figure out at training camp throughout the season, throughout his first year here.
In a conversation we'll have later on, there's the culture, but more important than the culture, you got to figure what's your climate. That's a deeper conversation, deeper level right there.
And
Talk culture all day long.
Don't mean nothing without players.
Climate matters. Well, Belichick won his first Super Bowl with guys that couldn't have been on his third Super Bowl winning team. So you can have a couple piece this thing together a little bit. John Wooden's first team was a bunch of dudes who was all 6'4". By the time he was winning 6 and 7, them kind of dudes wouldn't have been able to play for him. So it all depends. Nick Harris, thank you.
Thank you.
Jack Taylor, thank you. Chris Beam, our producer, and Joshy back there. We appreciate you. This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com.
Without a sponsor.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!